Hello, and welcome back to Warrior Moms. I am Michele Davis.
And I am Amy Durham, and we have our dear friend, Miss Rae Ann, here to talk about Max. And they have a big 5K run coming up soon. So we wanted to kind of just talk about that and all the things. So
we're so glad to have you.
Well, thanks for having me back again. I always love being on your podcast and talking to you lovely ladies. So thank you once again for thinking of us. We love it. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yes. Well, tell us, I know you have an episode where we go, much further in depth about Max and the tragedy, but let's just give a little bit of backdrop. Let's just start with who Max was and how missed he is.
So my son, Max Gruver, he was a freshman. He was 18 years old. And he, went away to college. He went to LSU and he, went right through Rush when he got there, to join a fraternity so he could, meet new people and stuff like that at a really big school. And, he really liked several, and he landed up deciding that he wanted to join Phi Delta Theta. And, he went into that process very, open and happy, and really loved his pledge brothers and all that kind of good stuff. And he was real happy. Max was a real happy kid, very laid back, very, very easygoing, just, really just was one of those people that was just kind of like everybody's friend and always wanted everyone included and stuff. And, just a good kid. And unfortunately, during the 29 days that he was there, the fraternity was hazing their new members. And there were several things that we found out later that happened during those couple of weeks. But on September 13th, they had an event that they, again, in a nutshell, not the whole night, but basically, they forced Max and the other pledges to consume copious amounts of 190 proof grain alcohol. And during that process of less like an hour and a half, Max consumed so much alcohol that he landed up obviously with alcohol poisoning. He had a blood alcohol of 0.495, which is 6 times the legal limit. And he died on the fraternity couch that night. And, the whole situation is very unfortunate, obviously. No one called 911. They knew Max was, in trouble. Yeah. He was, cold and clammy. His, lips, his fingers were turning blue. He had the weak pulse and all that. And nobody called 911. They were too chicken, to be honest, too scared they were going to get in trouble. And they unfortunately let a life go because of that. So our big mission since then is to raise awareness about hazing and what it is and what to watch out for, and what you can do to stop it or walk out on it and feel empowered with all that. And then also, too, call 911 in these situations. Don't play Russian roulette with another person's life. Let the medical professional come in there and help and take care of that situation. Because, for all we know, if they had just called 911 that night, Max could be here. So, Absolutely. Again, always err on that side of caution,
There's a law, too, no fault for calling, right?
There is, most of the states have a medical amnesty law, that Good Samaritan law. Uh-huh. And what it states in there is if you call when a person's in peril, like Max was, and no matter what's been going on, if you're at a party or wherever, and, you've been drinking or you've smoked pot or you did whatever, if you call 911, you stay with that person, you don't clean anything up, you tell the emergency personnel or the police or both, everything that's gone on. Don't hide anything. Don't change anything. Just let them know. And if you're cooperating in that whole situation, they will not hold you liable. That law is there to also protect you. So you will go ahead and do the right thing and not worry about, oh my God, I'm going to get in trouble for this. And then you make a bad decision, which is, I might sacrifice this person's life because I'm too worried. And I don't actually think that's most people's reasoning. Yeah. But they don't really realize this person really could die if I don't call 911.
And they've, most likely also been drinking. So their judgment is impaired too. And,
I mean, I always think about it too. It's like, imagine like, I mean, if you were sitting there and checking someone's pulse and checking somebody's breathing and you already know in your gut something's so bad, like you're nervous and all that. I mean, what are you really going to do when that person's pulse stops then? I mean, just call before you even get to that situation, get an ambulance there. They will transport right to the ER and they will get IV fluids in them and they will, sober these people up and they will be able to monitor them. You maybe also impaired at the time too, are not going to, what if you pass out and, you're not going to be able to keep monitoring that person. So again, it's just err on that side of caution, call 911. I mean, what I would do if someone had called 911 and Max was still here. And
he could have been, I mean,
he could have been saved. Yes. We don't know.
We don't know, but yes, the chances would have been a lot stronger had someone called.
Yes. And too, I think for us too, as the parents, it's like, why wouldn't you call 911 for this person that is in trouble? And that always kills us too. Like, yes. I mean, the hazing is horrible that someone would treat your child like that or anyone like that. But then when that person is in, need of help and you don't call 911, like, how do you not call 911 to help that person? And that just kills me too. Like, there's like a double whammy with it. Like, you're already screwed up over here. And now you're even more screwing up because you won't even get the kid help after you've put him in this predicament.
Yeah.
Well, and Rae Ann, I know I've said this time and time again to you, or I've thought it at least, is I think that kids especially don't understand that it really can happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just don't. I don't think that they do. I don't think that they think that that's going to happen. I mean, they're going to drink too much and then die. I just don't think, and that's why I think y'all's mission is so important in the high schools and the colleges, is because, you just drank too much, you're going to throw up, you're going to wake up. And it doesn't always happen like that.
It does not always happen. And it happens a lot more than people think, even without the hazing part of it involved. But people over drinking and being encouraged to over drink, and then the alcohol, poisoning that goes on and people dying from it is just, it's, it is really bad, and people do need to be aware of it, and just taking care of yourself, and saying no, like, I don't need another shot, or I don't need to do this, and I've had enough. Like, you have to know yourself too, in all these kind of situations. So it is trying to make things more aware, right? Just really think about it.
As I listen to you, of course, Amy and I have been, in your shoes in terms of losing a child. And I know those first months and the first 2 years, how unbelievably painful. I mean, when all of us talk about how there just are not words. Whenever I listen to you, I am just in such awe of just your love for Max and the drive that really you must have pushed through to seek that very first opportunity to have a conversation with the school, with the fraternity or sorority. Can you just talk us through, like, how did you get to that step and talk us through that?
Right at the beginning, I mean, literally, I say this when we do presentations, but the night before we buried Max, I was looking for a journal. I probably have talked about it on your podcast before, but we found this journal. I did find the journal. It wasn't the one I was looking for, but it was another one. And it had a paper in there that he had written on blessings when he was 16. And that last paragraph ended with his quote that we use everywhere, but it's, God works in funny ways. He does bad things sometimes because in the end, they are good. Something bad can happen to you, but in the end, it may make you better. He does bad to ultimately create good. And I got chills right now. I saw that. I burst into tears. I ran to my sister. I was like, read what Max wrote. Look what he wrote. Like, we have to do something. We have to do something to change this culture. This is horrible. Like, we have to make something good out of this. And that is literally what has been our driving force since then. It's just, I could sit here and dwell in the negative, right? We all could. Mm-hmm. And some days I do, but I really try hard not to. I've got to find that good out of this bad, which is if I can help somebody else in these situations make a better decision and call 911 or help that friend or deter a hazing situation or whatever the case might be, if I change somebody's mind about any of those things, then I've done the best I can in light of losing my son. And I do it all for him and for all of our kids. Like, it's just, I
Yes.
just don't want to see these kind of things happen to somebody else because it's senseless and pointless and 100% preventable, you know?
Absolutely. So where did you what was the first place that you reached to have a conversation, and then take us to that first time being on stage in front of people?
Well, actually, my sister started it first. Like, I mean, we knew eventually I would speak, or we were hoping. I don't really know that we knew. I shouldn't say that. But my sister started speaking in Miami to a couple high schools there. And her and a friend of mine from high school put a presentation together to take to my friend's high school. And my sister did it there. And she did it a few times. I mean, it was really kind of amazing how it all transpired.
Wow.
Again, somebody's working up there to make all this happen, right? And then in May of 2018, so, you know, that end of that school year after Max died, Blessed Trinity, which is where Max went to school and graduated the year before, had Steve and I come to speak to the seniors at their senior breakfast. And that was the first time Steve and I ever spoke. And it was very moving. And then obviously we know a bunch of the kids in the class because they're all seniors and they grew up with Max and all that kind of stuff. But it was also just a great experience to be able to share Max's story and what we had been through, but then also to tell these kids, like, in the next few months, you're about to go off and these are the things you might experience, and you know, do the right thing. And the stories we heard after that were just so incredible. And that we had been hearing about people who were wearing Max's, you know, wristbands, and, you know, somebody that was like, I stepped in when I saw somebody trying to force somebody to take more shots. And I told them, hey, no more. Or someone on their own looking at the bracelet and was like at a party and like, you know what? I don't need another drink. Or somebody passed out in the bushes and, you know, someone saying, oh, don't call 911, don't call. And they're like, no, we're calling 911 because of Max Gruver. So those kind of stories started rolling in about how people were remembering just Max's story and like, wait a minute, maybe I need to make a different decision on this. And that just keeps you going, like those stories and that push forward. And then we started getting, you know, requests from like colleges and fraternities and sororities. And then, like I said, it just kept building from there. And we would meet so many great, like, young adults, 18 to 20, 22, that, you know, wanted this hazing culture to change. And they were in it for the right reasons. And we saw all these people with the right reasons of wanting to be in a brotherhood, a sisterhood, a teammate. And I think if we hadn't met those people too, you would just not see the positive side of things and how they want to stand up against it and change it. Yeah. And we were there to help that. And if we can help that, again, we'll keep doing what we're doing to keep that moving forward.
What did that do for you and Steve in the grief journey and sort of kind of aligning, maybe just being able to kind of face some of this together a little bit? Because that's really hard as couples, of course, is we all grieve on different paces and so forth. What did that do for y'all?
I think in that time when at the beginning, and because Steve would travel a little bit with me more then than he does now, and we would, you know, present together or with some other like couple friends that also had lost their child to hazing. And honestly, I think in some ways it was good for both of us because it was a place to take your grief and like get it out there and share it. And I guess, I mean, it's so raw and open and honest. Even tonight, I'm presenting tonight, and I could cry through half his story. You know, you just never know. Like, but again, it's part of it is like, it was almost like you could I can't ever say that word. You know what word I'm saying? Put it in the box a little bit and like I can let it flow there and then
compartmentalize.
Yes, I can never say it.
Yeah.
But, you know, get it out there and, you know, and take that time. But then it was like, then I could center back a little bit. But it was a great place to put a lot of that grief. And I kind of feel like that's what I was doing. And I still do now. And I think Steve kind of did a little bit of that too, right? Like we just had that place in those presentations that you just really could get some of that out. The sadness, the anger,
Do you know
the
what?
happiness too.
And
You know,
you
it's
nailed it. I think that I think a lot of us that are advocate for different things and are able to talk about our tragedy and our children and stuff like that. I honestly believe that we heal a little bit. I don't know, a little bit every time we talk, a little bit
yes.
every time we speak. There's a little bit more that heals just a little bit, but then the Band-Aid could be ripped off
Hmm.
at any
Yes.
moment, but at least we're giving ourselves the time and the space to speak and do. And I just think that sometimes advocating for something in honor of our
Yeah.
children helps the heart so much.
Yeah. I think you just said it great right there. That's exactly it. I think that's exactly what's been continuing me going like this for 7.5 years. And it is that it's to be able to share in Max's life. I get to talk about him at the beginning of the presentation, and I want you to know him like I knew him. I want you to know he's just like you guys out there in the audience. He was just a great kid going off to college too, like sitting just like you are. So and then you share in the pain too, and I get to talk about it and freely talk about it. And I think it helps. I do think it helps. And again, advocating for a change to make something better for other people and make them aware, like the work you do. And I mean, it's just, I think it helps our hearts a
It
lot.
does.
I think they're never going to be mended, but I think it helps,
Stitch it up a little bit until it
a little bit. Yes.
until it
Yeah.
breaks again, if the thing breaks through.
Yeah.
So in order to, y'all are doing a 5K run coming up. I know y'all do several fundraisers throughout the year. What's your favorite? Which one's your favorite?
Oh, I don't know. You know what? We do the two big ones, which we do the race is so fun. We have a great morning every time that morning. And, it's just, I love seeing everybody come out this year. It's coming up on March 1st in a couple days. We are like at 296 runners right now.
Wow.
And, it's just very exciting. We always have a great turnout, and everybody's just, there to support. And just the fact that in all these 7 years, I can't believe it's 7 years, but
Can't either.
people still support us so much and back us and want to help us keep doing good things for other people. So that's huge, and so we do love the race. But then in August, we do that really fun, we have over at Deep Roots in Roswell, we have that great wine tasting with an auction. And this last year we added in the cornhole. I mean, the cornhole was so much fun.
Oh
So
my
we're
gosh,
really, we're,
this year, and it was
yes,
such a blast, Rae Ann. Oh my
so
god.
fun. So fun. And we're so excited about this year. We've got some
Have you
big
been
plans with,
practicing? Have y'all been practicing, Rae?
well, my whole family's on a cornhole league on Wednesday nights over at
love
Gate
it.
City. So I practice every week. I am not good, but yes, we practice every week technically. And but yeah, we're super excited. We got a lot of big plans for this August with, Deep Roots is going to do some more stuff. It's going to be great. Like we can't wait. So that's like, I think August 17th or 18th, right around there. But it's really a fun afternoon too, right? And then actually in a couple weeks, a friend of mine, this wonderful guy, Max, he owns Safe Haven Gym, and he called us. He likes to do stuff with local nonprofits, and he's supported us for years. I just love him and his organization. And he's going to do a fundraiser, which we're about to put out with working out and just all this stuff. So that's going to be fun. He's sending me over a little one pager on that. So you'll start seeing things about that. I love to do the little ones and the big fundraisers. It's just, again, you're creating the awareness, you're getting out there and talking to people and making sure they really know what's going on. And, this is it. What can we do to help, And so it's good. It's good. It's been really good. And we've really expanded. I might be jumping ahead of myself now.
No, keep going,
Maybe.
girl.
Yeah. That was our question is
Keep going.
Like, what is it that, besides just but besides the education, what else do you do with the foundation?
Well, back with the education piece is, the last several years have been really focused mostly on, the colleges and the organizations and stuff like that on the higher ed side. But the last 2 years, we've really started focusing on high schools because I think it's very important to get to the high school student, especially those high school seniors. And this spring semester, I really focused on high schools. And I think we're speaking at 20 high schools. Well, high schools or high school organizations this spring, which is just amazing to me. It's really just each year it keeps expanding and expanding and expanding. And we've just gotten a lot of great feedback from the public schools, from the private schools in our area. I have some schools in Miami we've spoken with, over in Nebraska. Somebody just requested for us to come out to Oregon. So I'm just very, I hate to say the word excited when you're talking about this, but I am excited. This is what we've been working for, Max's Foundation and the advocacy. And
well, I'm in awe. I'm in awe that it has spread. I mean, it's only been 7 years. And it's gone all the way to the other side of the United States,
Yeah. So, it's just great. And that's where we're kind of obviously the colleges we will definitely keep doing, but this spring, I was I really want to focus on these high schools. So we really get a landing in there we we do have with the higher ed and stuff. And it's working. It's great, so, and we work with Phi Delta Theta on that other high school program. So we have two. It's either me and Steve doing our version, or I do speak. Just a week ago, I was at a YMSL group, and the Phi Delts from Georgia Tech came and spoke with me, and it's a peer-to-peer type presentation. So the moms loved it, the kids loved it, the seniors loved it. I shouldn't call them kids, but the young men loved it. Just because it was very interactive, and you're talking to guys that is going to be you in a year. That's going to be you, and that's been a really good program too. So I like seeing these things that we've kind of been planning, for the last few years really coming to fruition, right? They're there, they're happening. And I think it's great.
It's incredible work.
It is
absolutely incredible.
Well, thank you. You ladies are sweet.
Well, what advice would you give other grieving moms or parents about, just how do you lean in and brace yourself for being so vulnerable and just afraid? Public speaking is certainly hard, and just, what's your
were you afraid of public speaking before, or were you it's no big deal?
I wouldn't say I was afraid of it. I remember in college, I loved it. I liked my public speaking class, but I was a nurse. It wasn't I needed to keep doing public speaking. So it was kind of funny when I first started speaking. I definitely, would get nervous, but there is something, obviously, when you're so passionate about something,
it's not
to be able to stand up there and speaking about it, that makes the difference too. And you feel it. I can feel it when I'm speaking, and it's a different tone. It's a different, and I'm not trying to lecture them or, no, you're being a bad kid. No, it's just it's just taking your passion, and you want them to feel it. And I think they do. Right. And it's just, I don't know. It just, I guess I'm kind of natural at it, but I'm natural at it because I am so passionate about it. If you had me going up there to, I don't know, talk about something else, I'd probably be stuttering and I don't know what to say, and I'd run off the stage.
Well, and, I've gone to your presentations, and here you give this, and it was that particular one, you and Steve had given it together. And it was just amazing to see the long line that just instantly started after you were done, that they wanted the conversation to continue and to have that face to face and to say thank you. That was so, yeah. Equally moving to me as watching y'all in the presentation was just that connection that you made with people. And it was
well, and I still feel that. Yeah, I still feel that. When we get done with presentations, and, especially when those students come up, and they'll come up, they want to hug you. They want to, some of them may start crying. They want to tell you about themselves or about somebody else that they know this has happened to, or maybe they had a sibling that passed away for some reason and they want to talk to you about that. Or some of them come up and say, oh my God, you remind me so much of my mom, or I can't even imagine my mom doing this, but thank you for doing that. It's just, there's that connection there. And it's, again, it's very moving. And again, another thing that makes you like, I'm reaching them and I want to keep reaching them like this. And
you're doing God's work. Yeah.
Yeah. Keep moving forward with it. Yeah. 100%.
Interrupted Michelle's question to you earlier. What advice do you have?
Good job, Amy.
My ADD is on fire sometimes.
But just, the advice you would have to other grieving parents, wanting to do something, but maybe a little nervous about it.
I have a friend who just lost her son this past fall. Really sad story. And from gun violence. And she definitely wants to advocate for her son. And I do keep talking to her about it, and again, it's sort of like you need this time right now too, though, to grieve, have those plans. And she's doing some things, but I'm like, because I'm like putting the cart before the horse, right? Like it'll happen naturally. It will, but right. We all needed that time. We need that time. Because it's a lot once you really start doing a lot of that advocacy work and getting out there and doing stuff. But that energy, it will take that. I also tell her it takes that grief energy and helps move it to something that you're trying to help somebody else with, and hopefully prevent some gun violence with someone else and those kind of things. And that will all come. It just doesn't have to come right now. And listen to yourself, right? Like, I don't know what made me finally figure out, okay, I was ready to speak in May after Max had died in September, but I guess I knew Blessed Trinity was where I would want to start. And being there with, I think, a community, obviously, that we are so close with and so close with those students. And so that helped me, kind of do it. But again, I think you have to listen to yourself and go with, like, kind of just roll with how it starts. Because ours started off very, very small with giving out the wristbands to, Max's friends that were requesting them across the country. And then other chapters started asking us, and then they were telling Max's story in their chapter meetings and giving out Max's wristbands. And that's like what started it, right? Everything always usually starts off small. And then it's just how you keep rolling with it and just allow the rolling forward, but not with overwhelming yourself. Because I think that's the other thing we can all do is there was plenty of times I'm sure I was at the brink of losing it, because you are so grief stricken, and then you're stressing yourself out about these things you're doing, but you want to do them. But again, that all comes at a cost, to the rest of your family.
That's what happened to me. Was I was like, I have to do something. And then you start doing it. And then I was like 3.5 years in, and I completely shut down. Like I had to back up everything and now, I just went in too big, too fast, too much, too much. And I had to take a step back and realize I can't be in the trenches. That was yes. I can't be in the trenches. I can be back here doing what I needed. And it took a while, just like with you, it's taken a while to figure out that groove and where you need to be.
And where you want it to be. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, and this is something that I had a hard time with, and I still have a hard time with because this is who we are, is it doesn't have to be big. It can just be mail and wristbands. It does not have to be big. And that's where
and you're doing, and you're helping someone like, I mean, you're doing what you feel you need to do, for Alec, and let's do it. And and you're helping so many people, like when you do his pizza party. Party and all that you feel after you come out of that. I mean, that's huge, and that's what it's about. And that, again, right there's like something very passionate, and hey, maybe that keeps growing each year, or you start something else, but you just let it go naturally, how it needs to go. And it doesn't matter big or small. And I think COVID helped me too. Like, I think us having to halt everything the way we did, I think that's pretty much, like, I was probably really very, very burnt out at that time, and probably really ready to run for the hills. But COVID pull those reins.
Yes.
And I think I talk about it in the book, I think. Yeah, I do. In my chapter in that book.
Now y'all all sat together and just,
and you just have to, well, you had to kind of, for also some of this, you're running from it, right? You're kind of running from the grief a little bit and the tragedy of what's happened. And COVID makes you face it again. Like I couldn't be like, oh, I got to go travel again. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
right. You had to sit with it. Yeah.
You had to kind of sit with it and then regroup and then figure out, okay, what is my next game plan here? And then roll with it. And you know what? There's no right or wrong answers. It's what you have to do for you and your family and all that. And yeah, doing big advocacy doesn't, mean you got to travel all across the country. It could be mailing wristbands. It could be, going to some support groups and telling them about your story or your son's story or Max's, you know what I mean? Like whatever it might be, it's all for them.
Good. It's all moving forward. As long as you're moving forward. Yep.
Yes.
So,
well, last question. What do you think Max thinks of all of this and his mom and dad that are out there helping people?
I think he thinks we're crazy.
Of course.
Ladies. I say this all the time. I think he's like looking, because again, if you guys like knew him, I know you know him, but if you knew him, he would just be like probably shaking his head with that goofy grin and just like, what are you doing? Yeah. And all this for like, and kind of like all this for me. Yeah. Like, why me? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Like and that just, humble spirit of it all. Like,
okay. Like, I just don't, I don't know. I mean, I think he smiles and he's like, way to go. But I think at the end of the day, I think he is a little like, you guys are nuts. Thank you. But I can't believe you did all this, because of what happened to me. I do. I do think he thinks that. Yeah.
Which is fun because it's kind of, like you still feel like there's this banter a bit,
yes,
parent and child.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
Yeah. Well, Rae Ann, it's always so much fun to talk to you. And I miss seeing you. So we will.
I know we've got to get together.
Like, I know.
Let's do another dinner. I know I've missed so many of our Warrior Mom meetings, but let's try to just do a dinner again like we did, a few months ago, because I would love to see everybody. I miss everybody so much.
Me too.
All right.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes, and thank you
all
thank you. Being here, listeners out there in the world. We will be back next week with someone else.
And if you want to reach out to us, we have a website now, warriormoms.me, and you can put in your name and email and, reach out to us. We'd love to hear feedback. And even if you have topics that you're interested in hearing us talk about, we would love to hear from you.
We would love to hear from y'all. Yes. We need ideas for topics. Always. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
See you later.
Thanks, ladies. Bye.
Bye.